All right, y'all. It's the time of the day that you've been waiting for. It is the one show on air that will take you from the boardroom to the bedroom, from politics to the pulpit, and everything in between with your favorite friends. You are about to join the crew for Fresh Fire as we do what we do all together. Tune in.
What's good, everybody? Welcome to the crew. Our peoples is in here.
We are.
We are.
We got Southeast Sia that's with us today.
What's up, y'all?
Southeast, how you doing?
I'm good.
You good?
I feel good.
You feeling good?
I'm feeling good.
Feeling good, all right. We have Doc. Well, we can't call you Doctor no
You
more.
know, right.
What can we call you on this show now? What do we
I'm
call
just
you?
Al on the show.
You just Al.
I'm just Al on the show.
And remember, everybody, it's Al VN. Okay?
Yeah. And say it smoothly.
Don't come to
Alvian.
me. Don't Alvin. It's Al VN.
Okay.
We working on that. You doing all
Okay.
right?
I'm good. I'm real good.
Now, y'all, we surprised because, sponsor Todd over here.
I don't got the merch.
He ain't got no sponsorship today. Like, what's going on, man?
He needs a fresh T-shirt.
I will wear my merch maybe next taping.
Next time?
So, next time so that you guys can, see what's out there.
I'm just confused.
Don't hate. Don't. You know what?
He's jealous. You know he's jealous.
That's I get it. That's the
He a
little
baby brother.
What is that?
You know how that
I
works.
want my T-shirt. What is it?
Yeah, I want a T-shirt.
I want a T-shirt.
I want a T-shirt.
I want a T-shirt. It's like I want my MTV. I want
a T-shirt.
I want a T-shirt.
He wants a
I mean, I
T-shirt.
just want somebody to pull up at Ivy.
He's
Bring me a
he
shirt.
wants
That's
somebody
all.
to say they love him
I'm gonna
too.
take care of my brother.
All
I'm
right,
gonna take care of
he
my
wants to
brother
feel
because
loved
he's
too.
poor. So
Remember me in paradise. That's all
Remember
I'm
you in paradise? No, you did not. Remember you in paradise?
Remember me.
Well, I'm Old Testament, so
You don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means.
What is that? Oh yeah.
You don't know what that means. Hey, look, our brother Ray here again, so we want to give him a shout out.
Yeah, what's up,
Yeah, he
Ray?
brought in his
Both
he doing
and.
his
Both
thing.
and.
Yeah,
Both
both
and.
and.
Both and.
Both and is
Everybody
busy.
got a T-shirt. Everybody got a T-shirt. Both and.
Yeah.
Yeah, both hands not with us, but
Both hands.
shout out to our producer extraordinaire.
Yes,
who
sir.
always does a fantastic job
Hey, Jason.
keeping us in line. Let's give it up for Jason.
We
y'all.
love
He
him.
doing a great job.
We love him.
Did a great job. Jason, man, thank you for everything. So, y'all, look, we got another fire show that we got prepared today.
Yeah,
y'all. But
we've
look,
been on a roll.
So, you need to tell your friends now just to call, tell them, look, listen to the show on HOV or you need to watch it on
They need to
Facebook.
actually do both. You
They
know what?
should.
Because you miss an experience when you don't watch.
Especially with y'all.
These two. Yes.
Really?
The
Oh, my
faces.
God.
Oh my.
Maybe the faces.
The
Maybe the
faces.
Maybe the faces. They,
The faces.
The
it's an
side
experience.
eyes.
The
The side-
faces.
Because you get side eyes.
I do.
You do, man.
Yes, you do.
You do. I knew you do it in court, too. You probably don't even realize it.
They already know they lost. They just watch your face closely.
No
they would know
poker
they
face.
they
Side
lost.
eye, man.
You
So-
have lost this.
Me neither.
Transparency.
Me neither. You know
it
exactly
is what
what
it's
I'm
gonna be.
thinking.
Yeah.
So look, I'm excited about this topic today because we're gonna set the record straight for these
Period.
men and women
Yeah.
out here. What's
Yeah,
going on?
it's time.
So y'all check the show out. We're going on a break. We'll be right back. We're back on the crew. Al, we got a new name for Ton. He's got a new role now on the show.
He does.
Is
He's a
content
contributor. Yep.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, because he always comes like a chef. He always comes with the meal. Like he always has ideas. And if you guys could ever see the thread that we share as a crew, I mean, he drops the juiciest things inside of it and always has a perspective. So he's going to be the content contributor.
Okay.
And don't play with him because he'll shank you.
He will shank you.
I will, man. I will.
But he come up with good stuff because
He
he always
does.
on Twitter. Ain't that right?
He lives on Black Twitter.
Black Twitter is hot, bro. I'm just saying, y'all don't sleep on it.
He
don't even deny
No, fully
because
embraces it.
they talk about the realest stuff, and I am here for it. Okay, I'm here for it.
All right.
Here's the thing: Black Twitter can make me laugh. Black Twitter can make me cry.
Yeah,
Black
yeah.
Twitter can make me mad.
Yeah.
It gives me all of those
all of that.
emotions.
All
Yeah,
of
so
it.
I
The
mean,
full spectrum.
Yes, the plethora. What's the
Plethora. Yep.
of emotions.
Yep.
Black Twitter will do that for
Full
you.
Well, I'm
spectrum.
glad you get a plethora. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Sometimes I feel
makes you
shame.
misread.
The shame. I'm like, what's wrong with my people?
People, right?
What's wrong with my people?
Clutch
my heart.
those
I'm
pearls.
vexed. Sometimes I'm vexed.
See,
My spirit is vexed.
do you go on Black Twitter?
Okay, so to be clear, Black Twitter is not a destination.
Yes.
Or a place
I know,
to go
people-
to.
it's not.
Yeah,
Black
people think
Twitter
it
is basically just how Black people act on Twitter.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
Yes.
Which
That's
is
right.
X now.
It
That's
is
what
X.
it is.
Yeah.
It is
It's
X.
gonna always be Twitter. Though.
I absolutely subscribe to Black Twitter in my thread, but I may not. I'm not as active in it. But yeah, I see some things.
You
I
see some things. Are you on Black Twitter?
I don't go on at all. I don't use X at all.
Oh, wow.
My team does for me, but I don't personally.
okay. All
Yeah.
I need.
I'm
So
with
you know what's going on then.
Right.
They share,
Yeah, okay.
but
All right.
I personally am not. It's not on my phone or anything.
She making money. She ain't reading, Todd. Or she's
I'm reading.
Black Twitter.
If I can't monetize it, we ain't talking about it.
Right.
I'm reading.
All right, Todd, what'd you see up there, man? What you got for us?
So the question that I have today is Chivalry dead?
Oh,
Because there were a couple of articles that I have come across that talks about that were young ladies that have been in experiences, and apparently they were negative experiences, and so as a result of that, there was the chatter about chivalry, and there was the chatter even about modern day dating and what that looks like, and whether this generation is kind of like out there or off concerning it, because if you listen to young people who date today, they'll tell you it's rough out there in the streets.
Yep, that's
They
exactly what they said. That's exactly
my kids, man.
Hold on. I said it, didn't I say it? That's a mic drop. So it's rough out there in the streets. And they will say it just like that. It's rough out there in the streets. And so apparently this young lady, she was feeling that rough like that in the streets, mine. And so she went on, I think it was a TikTok she did, but it found its way on other social media platforms. And she was talking about apparently a date that she was on, and the guy took her somewhere, and she felt like he wasn't a gentleman. She said, look, if you want, and she was cursing like a sailor, so that was the first X for me. I'm like, you got a foul mouth like a sailor for real, So
Expression.
Yeah, but she wasn't just expressing. She was dropping all kind of.
Why you
She was
defending
using
her?
and an
about the men, but whatever.
She was dropping all kind of bombs here,
Okay.
but she was dropping it in a sense of like she couldn't come up with other words. She just was dropping them, and so she was saying that if you go out on a date with her, of course she wants you to open the door for her.
Yeah, first you're picking her up in a nice car.
You're picking her up in a nice car.
Then you're opening the door.
And
Go
you're
ahead.
opening the door, and she called to do a hoe. So she said, ho, you better open my door.
Yeah.
She said it like that, y'all. Ho,
Yeah.
you better open my door.
Yeah.
See, you see what I mean? See?
She just meant it.
She meant that thing. She said, ho, you better open my door. She called to do a B. She was like, she was the dude
She sure
talking to
sounded
a
like one.
female.
Yeah,
That's how
sure.
she came across. She was
Sure
very
did.
aggressive and very masculine in her.
The tropes.
Oh, okay. So then she said, when we go to a restaurant, you better cut my steak, B, because she said
She ordered a steak for sure, too.
She said because I'm always going to
Ordering
order
a
steak.
steak, yep.
Because I wouldn't know you got home training.
Yep.
So she said I'm always ordering
That's what she
steak, and you better cut my steak. And she said, and you better be a gentleman. You want some gentle, and she referred to
her rear end.
Her rear end.
Yeah.
She said, if you want some of that, then you better be a gentleman. And then the TikTok was over with. So
Thankfully.
I had to clutch my pearls for real. I was like, is this
What we
out
consider,
there?
and what we consider chivalry,
And,
right?
and this is what we consider chivalry.
So can we start there?
Well, there's one more. Because, we're going to talk about it. We might as well just talk about both of them
All right.
in the same group. Then there was another one. Sia's already laughing because she already knows. This one is viral. This is everywhere. I think this was even on CNN. Where this lady, or this young lady, she set up a date with this guy to go and have drinks at this restaurant. So he's thinking, okay, this we're gonna have a good time, having drinks or whatever it's gonna lead to, whatever it's gonna lead to.
Poor thing.
Well, when they got there, old girl said, no, I ain't here for the drinks. I'm here for the drinks. And she ordered 4 dozens of oysters at $15 an oyster. $15 a dozen, and so she ordered 4 dozens. That's a lot of food, right
So
there.
that's
And she wasn't,
$60
she
off
wasn't
the
even
top.
finished.
And she wasn't finished.
That's
Yeah.
60 off the
Yeah.
top.
Yeah, and then she ordered potatoes.
Yeah. And the crab cake.
She ordered the crab cake platter.
Yeah.
She ordered the crab cake platter. And then she had drinks. So here's the thing. She didn't even want to go out with a guy.
Yep.
She just wanted to eat.
Almost
and she wanted to get drinks.
$200.
Right. About $200 worth of food, right?
Yep.
So apparently, old boy felt the vibe. He felt the vibes that she was giving him. Like, I'm really not into you.
Yep.
I'm just really here just to
For
eat
the
your
food,
food
yep.
and for the drinks or whatever.
Yep.
So, just pardon my appetite while I eat, and you pay the bill. So he got up.
Pretended
and
to go to the bathroom.
Pretended to go to the bathroom. He went somewhere like, excuse me for a second. And
Gone.
he never came back.
And left her with the
So
bill.
He left her with the bill.
I love it.
And, so,
And we know about it because she went live
she
about
went
the experience.
live about the experience and talked about how she just got dropped with a $185 bill.
Good for her.
And so there you go. And so the question is chivalry dead?
All right. Can we start with a Lord help us?
Help them,
Can we
God.
start with a working definition of chivalry? Can we
Yeah.
can we go around
What
each
do we-
of us?
what do we wanna call
and kind
that?
of define what we think chivalry is? So, Sia, let's start with
So
you.
I think, okay, so obviously chivalry is already based in gender roles
Yes.
of male and
100%,
female, right?
100%.
And I think a lot of it is about showing manners, showing that you care for someone or care about humanity without expectation of receiving anything in return. That's what I think. So like if I'm walking up to a door and a gentleman opens the door, we don't have to be dating.
Right.
Like, you're supposed to, I'm doing air quotes for those listening, you're supposed to open the door for a woman, right? So these things that men are supposed to do for women that are generous and giving and also take on a slant of protective too, right? So that's what I think of when I hear chivalry, and I'll stop there because I
right.
have lots more to offer
Okay,
later.
Al, chivalry. What do you think?
I think my definition is actually very similar to Sia's. Just a genuine acknowledgement of and acceptance of the role of looking out for, caring for, being protective of, being gracious to, and highly mannered in your interactions with women, be they old or young. It's not even about whether or not it's the woman you're dating per se. Just the care for women in our community. Period. So I actually don't think that it's really that different from. I think we see it very similarly.
So, in both of you all's examples, you don't think that women can be chivalrous to men. It's just men being chivalrous to women.
Now,
I think the word.
Okay, that's what I was
Yeah,
gonna,
I think the word is
Yep.
very masculine and used to describe men, and that women are then, if we're taking care of men, it's like nurturing or
I was just gonna
compassionate.
say, that's
it's a
the word.
feminine word
Yep,
that's usually used for what we do for men.
They use them, and even though the care may be very similar,
Right.
The verbiage used to define that care is often used differently. So she's very nurturing, she's very motherly, she's very caring, she's very sensitive. So there are different ways in which that's
Or
described.
ladylike,
Yep. Oh
or-
yeah,
So
absolutely.
chivalry, so that to kind of back up what they're saying, because I look for the evidence. The chivalry is rooted in medieval terms.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it actually refers to the behavior of a good knight.
Yep.
And so you talk about chivalrous behavior. So a knight would be courteous. He would be gallant. He would show generous behavior. So it is actually rooted in medieval terms. So it does refer to a male.
Yep.
So
Yep.
it is gender specific. That
Yep.
word is.
Yep.
All right. So then the question is, the topic is chivalry dead?
Yes.
Is the topic. So now let me come back to the ladies again. Is chivalry something that you want today?
So I'm gonna put it like this.
Yes, I want to
I
hear
can
this.
get my own door.
Uh-huh.
I'm not worried about the door. I'm not worried about these little things that somebody's daddy taught you're supposed to do on a date. I would like a generous individual in life. Not just on a date, but like I really want to see how you treat the janitor in a building. I want to see how you treat people in general. And I don't want someone that just treats women well in order to get something from the woman. That's not, to me, like actually generous or courteous. That's a tactic. That is like, I'm gonna pretend in order to get what I want. And it's so see-through.
But what is it? That's who they are, as far as not trying to get something from you, but just they may open a door because
no. What I'm saying is I would rather choose between one or the other because I haven't really encountered the unicorn of the both. I haven't. Usually most dudes that are overly like excited to open a door are the ones that are doing it to make sure you saw it, to make sure that you know. And like, you know, and then it's always followed up with some inappropriate comment. So it's just real weird. But if it's just like, I have stuff in my hands and some dude opens the door, I'm going to say thank you and be appreciative. But why do you expect a conversation to come out of it? It was a door. So like I was saying, if I had to choose, I'll open my own door. I would rather see people be chivalrous in their everyday life outside of their dating lives, because then that's how you know they're a good person.
So I got a question about that then. Why does chivalry has to always be associated with dating?
I was going to ask that question.
Yeah, because chivalry to me has really in its root had nothing to do with dating. It had everything to do with just the conduct, the code of men. It
is the experience as a woman of being absolutely invisible to men who do not want to sleep with me.
So then, is that just the experience, or is that just the culture?
I would say based off girls' night and hearing from lots of women who are looking to date men, that's the experience. That usually the niceness or the genuine behaviors that we have just explained or given examples for happen when a man is interested in a woman or when a woman is older and like somebody's grandma. Oh, let me get the door for you because you old, right?
Because like my 15-year-old, we were in Harris Teeter, and we were just getting some things, and we were going out the door, and there were two ladies who came up as I had passed, and he waited, and he let them. He apparently must have told them, you go, and he's 15-year-old by the way, and they left. So when we came out of the store, they made a point to stop me to say, your son, he has good manners. I appreciate that or whatever.
Is that chivalrous?
But that was chivalrous.
That is chivalrous.
That was absolutely chivalrous because it was generous.
Yeah.
Because generous is not monetary only.
Right.
Generous can be kindness.
Yeah.
Generous can be selflessness.
But what Sia's saying is she may not want that if something comes attached
with it.
But nothing came attached. He's a 15-year-old
But that's
kid.
in your case.
Right.
But I'm just saying,
but just because somebody's opening the door doesn't mean they receive it that way if they feel like it's leading to something else.
Right. So like let's say he was older, right?
Okay.
And let's just say he was 30.
Okay.
And if he held the door and we walked through the door, I say thank you. He says you're welcome. Have a good day. And that's the end of it. Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Right. That's my point.
That is not the usual experience.
Why not?
Because I'm telling you, most of the dudes who are not interested in girls oftentimes do not see that girl and will walk right through the door and not hold it for her. But if it's something that they want, they saw it. They were scoping it from before they even got to the door. The door is held and there is flirtation or something that happens that is offered. And that's what I'm saying. It's like, I do not often experience just the holding of the door. It is always with something or it doesn't happen.
Okay.
Because I'm like, you could just a bunch of married men who can just open a door for a lady. That's just a lady walking by.
And some of them men with rings got extra comments.
I get that, but I get that. But I'm saying I guess my point is there can be plenty of opportunities where men are not trying to get anything. You're just happen to be right there. They happen to open the door. How you doing? Bye. And you going about your business.
Agreed.
And there's no conversation. There's nothing. I don't want nothing from you.
She's saying that could happen, but it hasn't happened in her experience. That's what she's saying.
Or it's rare.
So I'm
Or
going to
it's
ask
rare.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you out. Do you think women still want chivalry today?
I do. I mean, like, now I totally acknowledge that I conform to more traditional gender roles, and I'm also privileged to have a partner who also believes in those roles. So, like, for instance, if I'm getting into the car, he does not get into the car until after I'm seated in the car. In the event that something, if God forbid, something were to happen, if he's already sitting and I'm outside of the car, he's got to get out of the car to try to protect me in a situation. But making sure that I'm seated in the car first, my door is closed before he gets in the car, means that if God forbid there were a situation, I am in a protected position and he's prepared to defend my safety. I appreciate that. I don't put gas in my car unless I'm driving it myself. And quite frankly, these days, I'm a little more spoiled. Now, granted, he's retired now, but I don't put gas in my car, period. I just drive it. And when I get in, it magically has gas inside of the car. So I get to experience that too. My husband doesn't curse around me, because he believes that in respecting me, he doesn't talk around me the way that he may talk around the guys. So I almost never hear him use profanity. And I mean, like, never hear him use profanity. So one day I heard him curse by accident, and I chuckled so hard because I'm not used to hearing it that I forgot that he knew those words. So, like, it was funny to me to, like, hear him slip, because I was the only girl and we were with a team of guys, and he said something responding to one of them and then looked at me like, oh snap, like he forgot that I was there. But I mean, my experience is that I also acknowledge that I experience the world as an attractive woman. And so the way in which men treat me, I know, and C is right, I know it's because they see me, and they see me in a particular way that fits into with the parameters of what they find attractive. And while they may not say anything inappropriate, I do know that they saw me, and I watch them not see other women that don't fit into their definition of what attractive is. Because I have watched, I mean, like, literally have a woman behind me walk into have a door held for me, and him let go of the door after I walk through, as if she wasn't just 3-4 steps behind me. And there was a definitive difference in how we appeared, and whether he was conscious of it or not, he made a decision on the inside. This one is worthy of me opening the door for, and this one is not. So, and because I've also, and I talk about this a lot in terms of my experiences, because I have been a woman that was a size 26. And people don't know that, but it was with my pregnancy, but after having the baby, I was still heavier for a while. And I experienced the world as a woman that isn't a size 4'6". I experienced the world, and it was amazing, the difference between how I was treated as a 26 versus how I'm treated as a size 6. Night and day different. I'm the same woman. I haven't changed how I was behaving. I wasn't conducting myself in any different manner, but my experience with men inside of the world, I became one of the invisibles. And it's really interesting to do that, which is why when I have conversations, and we've done some stuff on privilege from a racial perspective, but I acknowledge that there are multiple privileges in America.
Yes, there are.
There is economic privilege, there is gender privilege, there's religious privilege, and there is absolutely aesthetic privilege. There are some women who are dumb as a box of rocks, and they're living their lives a different way because they fall into what people consider beautiful people. And as a result, certain kinds of men want to have that accessory on their arm and are willing to do things for those women just because she meets their concept of gorgeous or beautiful. But she offers absolutely absolutely nothing, and it doesn't matter at all because his status, just like his sports car or his high-end SUV, his status has to include a supermodel or a model-looking woman. And you can look at professional athletes, and 9 times out of 10, that if it's not his wife, that they've known each other from before he was rich, right?
Right.
But if they met after he was wealthy, 9 times out of 10, she looks like a model.
So let me ask you both. I'm hearing kind of the answer. Both of you would like chivalry, but both of you don't feel like the chivalry that you get is genuine or that it comes with strings. Is that what I'm hearing?
I do also want to say, like, and sometimes, like, we are close in age, but then sometimes I remember that we are different in age. And I think, like, there's some things that I don't subscribe to. And I know that my idea of gender roles is more like a millennial than a Gen Xer.
Well, I also think, just as a note, my daughters, of course, are 20 years younger than you.
Right.
But they subscribe to my frame of the world. So it's also how you think, right? So it's not even just the difference, because we're 3.5, 4 years apart from each other. But it's not even just that difference. I think it is also you have a particular lens of the world that is very strong and clearly defined for you.
Yeah.
And then for other women, that lens is very different. And they may be barely 25 years old, but they have a very traditional, my girls want a man who is a man because they watch their daddy be a man.
Right.
And to them, that has been a positive image.
Right.
If I watched that and it was negative, my daughters might feel very different about what they want in a man. But because they watched it and it was a beautiful and positive thing, they are still looking for men that are like their daddies in the way that he is protective and careful and thoughtful in that. So I think it also has to do, and I know you had a great dad, but I mean, just say, like, I want to be clear about that too.
And it was just like my friend group, and I hang with a couple of folks that are younger than us. Like, I would never mind if a dude cussed around me. Like, that has nothing to do with what I consider.
And my girls don't mind that either.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
But my girls are cussers too, so. I'm just
Well.
acknowledging it. I don't
You know, the
curse,
Lord is
but
still working on me.
You know, but my girls cuss a little bit.
But that's what I'm saying, right? So there are some differences, I think, in what we might consider to be our standard of chivalry, right? But in general, I would agree with what you're saying. And I just don't value some of the things in the same way just because I know how rare they are. But I would 100% agree that it seems like chivalry is still alive and well as a tool for what men use in order to get what they want from women.
So, but you would want it at least, but not want it feeling like there's strings behind it.
Yeah, either take the strings off or you can just have it.
Gotcha.
And like I said, I can get my door.
So do you think also because of how, and you talked about generations of young girls being raised now, let's just be honest, a lot of girls are being raised more to be empowered, right? And in some cases, there are a lot of parents that are raising girls that say you don't need a man.
Yes.
Right?
See, but you got to be careful about that.
I'm going to come to that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to come to that.
Oh, it's
But
coming.
I can
hold
tell
on.
you what they're
It's
saying
coming.
when they say that.
But in that, when they hear I don't need a man, do you think then that chivalry is even something that they're looking for or even want at this point?
No, because what you have to do, because a lot of people will say chivalry died when feminism came around, or chivalry died when women found that they could work outside the home. No, like if I were to tell somebody I'm mentoring that you don't need a man or you don't need chivalry, it is because of the strings. It's not, there is no genuine sense of just niceness out there that women just who aren't as, maybe conventionally beautiful, like it's just not happening. So when they're saying these things, they're describing the strings, the expectations. If I pay for dinner, then you're putting out. If I open this door, it's because you owe me something, or this machismo, this toxic masculinity where I'm opening the door for you because I'm the man and this is what makes me a man, but then doesn't have nothing else that the Bible talks about what a head of a household or what a masculine figure is supposed to be. And so when I think we have to break down what it is that we're teaching our young folks, I hear a lot of women saying, you don't need that mess. And sometimes the word that's used for mess is man or relationship or whatever, because that is so prevalent in some of these experiences. So when y'all talk about, well, my son, and y'all have amazing sons and you raise them to have manners, it doesn't come with the mess, right? Because y'all raised your kids. Well, some of us are out here dating. And remember when y'all said some people weren't supposed to have kids? They were raised by some people that didn't know no manners and didn't teach no manners. And like, that's what I'm saying. So it's like, literally, I'm not opening the door because I'm supposed to. I'm opening the door to get what I want. And that is a very different experience when you're out in the dating world.
I get that. So Al, for you, you talked about chivalry from Matt's perspective, right? But take Matt out of the equation. Just for men in general, you would still want men to be chivalrous towards you?
Yeah, because like, for instance, one of my business partners, we're 10 years apart, so he's like 35 years old. And but he's one of my best friends. And when we are out, I expect him to protect, take care of, and watch out for me, because we are in spaces where I am also the only woman in that space. If anything went wrong, there are no other women in there, around there, nothing to be able to defend what has transpired. So Matt has to trust, because he can't come with me to a lot of the places I have to go. So he has to trust that my best friend has, had he been here, this is how he would have operated. I'll give you a perfect example. We went to some government meetings over the last couple of months. I've been back and forth to DC. Many of the negotiations that we're working on, we are working on them with other military men. Right? And most of those men are older than I am because of their ranking in the military. And you can't, like, the military is not like corporate America, because just of your talent, you can be, right, no such thing. So all of these people who are making decisions are at least 15 years my senior, right? But these are high-ranking, powerful individuals. And they are used to getting yeses on all kinds of things. They are used to, and I'm not indicting anyone individually, I'm just saying, generally speaking, they are also used to the rule that you are, there's a term they use for it, deployment divorced, I think is what they call it, where there's an understanding that if I'm stationed somewhere for years, my spouse does not expect me to maintain our relations in quite the same way, that basically there's a pass that is given because I'm still a man and I have needs that need to be met. We're not debating that today because we could have feelings about that, but this is what's understood, and that does not come home. When you come back home, you come back to the rules of our marriage, right? So if you've got men who are kind of used to this, how they orient to women is very interesting. I walked into a major session with some of the highest ranking men in this world when it comes to national security. And the first comment that was made is, thank God they brought something beautiful in the room. Now, I'm a freaking doctor. Nobody said, it's good to meet you at original. It's good to meet you. The first comment was, they finally brought something beautiful into this room first. Then thereafter, it was a series of meat market comments. We had personal security with us. And I had to tell my security, make sure nobody touches my butt. And he's huge, but we had personal private security. My best friend who was with me, he was like, I asked him, how would you have wanted, there was a negotiation we were handling. I said, how would you have wanted me to respond if said person had taken, some freedoms, because it was obvious that he was very attracted to me and he was open about his attraction to me. How would you have wanted me to respond? Because we are negotiating $100 million deal. Would you have expected me to keep my mouth shut so that we can get the deal closed and don't mess it up for the team? What would you have wanted me to do? And he said very clearly, and this is why Matt trusts him. He said, all money is not good money, and you should not have to be violated in order for us to make money. We will find another way for us to be able to get that deal closed if a situation happens. And then he ran down, because he's military also, then he ran down all of the ways in which we could address the issue if something inappropriate happened. And he was like, and I would handle it. But that if it were anybody else, he may not have to think about any of those things. But because I'm a girl inside of the business, there's still a level of protection that is required. And the first thing Matt said is, I'm glad to hear that that's the position he would take, because I have to trust that he has you covered when I can't go into these spaces.
But, okay, so not as much money. But in similar rooms, women legislators have taken those roles on for each other because we have experienced that the men are silent. Yep. And so when we are in closed doors, behind closed doors, it's like, all right, girl, you got me. All right, I got you. And we negotiate what are our lines in the sand. And then once the line is crossed, we both out. Like, we have a community of women that have maintained, I don't care how many drinks have been served at this party. Right. Don't touch my shoulder. Don't touch her shoulder. And it is very clear within my circle what you can and can't do. And there are other women that negotiated it very differently, right? But it's not the men doing that for us. It is the women.
Other women protecting each other.
Women. And so in that sense, if that's what we're considering chivalrous, then women can 100% be chivalrous. We have to protect each other. We have to protect each other.
But see, I think for a lot of men, Tom, when we think of chivalry, we're thinking opening doors and just being kind and just being respectful.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm hearing here. No. I'm hearing here a little bit deeper than that, right? So Tell the audience, for you all as women, what would you like for chivalry to be? What does it look like?
Before you go there, I gotta come back over here for a second.
Oh, hey, Tiny Tom.
Okay.
Don't shake me.
I just, as you say, for radio. For radio. Okay. Right, as you say, for radio.
For radio.
Because I'm hearing.
Or podcast now, too.
Podcast, yes, for podcast. I'm hearing all the things you guys are saying that men do, and they do. No question about that. But in 2023, it ain't just about the men.
Oh, that is true too.
Okay, it's not just about the men, because the women can be ratchet too.
Oh, they can be
and
wild.
They can be even more ratchet.
That is a fact.
I have had to tell somebody your behavior
is inappropriate.
Yeah, and it wasn't towards me. It was towards one of my staff members, and I had to tell them I called HR on you.
Yep.
And not only did I call, because I would shank you diplomatically too.
Because the shake was metaphorical.
The shake is metaphorical.
Let's be clear.
And so, it don't matter how I shake you just gonna get shanked. Sometimes I gotta delegate the shanking to somebody else. And I call HR on you. Because to me, in my mind, in my book, it was sexual harassment. And it wasn't even on the property. It was at a social function. But because you are in my employment, and because that was a business social event, I took it as you did this in my environment. Right. So guess what? I got to deal with your stuff. And so it was a female, and she was drunk. She had been drinking because it was a social gathering, and she was out of line. I mean, for real, out of line. And when I called the dude in, and the dude was a young, I'm not even going to describe him, because if I did, some people may know what I'm talking about. But let's just say the woman kind of went gaga for him. And so when I called him in, cool dude, called him in, I said, tell me what happened. He downplayed her behavior because he didn't want to create no issues. Because everybody know Anton. Anton Shanks, I'm equal opportunity. Right. It don't matter who you are. Right. Grandma, little boy, I shake everybody. And so it don't matter. And so he downplayed it. Everybody else that I talked to is like, no, this is what happened. Right. So I called HR and I dealt with it that way. But the reality of it is, women are very aggressive. Come on, we got to have a conversation with our sons. And we have to tell them, look, bro, every open leg ain't for you.
Yeah,
so
I know, that's right.
Come on, we keeping it real. Every pair of open legs ain't for you, bro. You need to be mindful.
Yes, you do.
Because you think it's okay, and then the next minute they saying rape. So every open pair of legs ain't for you. And guess what? If you are over there past ain't not open after midnight, but pair of open legs. We had to have those conversations as well. So I'm just saying, women can be just as ratchet and just as aggressive as the brothers.
No, I've absolutely. Like sexual
Okay.
harassment can be absolutely,
It's
you
power.
know, it is. It's about the power. It's about the power play. What's interesting within sexual harassment, just like the gentleman downplayed it, there's still gender expectations within that. What that man said to you was absolutely sexual harassment,
Absolutely.
but you were 100% expected to take it.
Yep.
Right.
You know
Yep.
what I'm saying? And
Yep.
so there's still gender differences within the experiences of it. So, you know, when the Me Too movement started heating up for real more recently, right? Then I hear these dudes, the same ones, only opening doors to get to open legs, right? Well, you don't even know what you can say nowadays. And I'm like, if you don't know how to talk to a woman without sexually harassing her in order to date her, then we got to go back to some basics. And I know that there are some situations where they're in gray area, but like literally you can't just walk up to a woman, smack her on the butt and think, oh, we're going to have a wonderful life together in this day and age. That is illegal. And there are some of us that will press charges on that because, like, you know, why are you acting like that?
But women will walk up to men.
No, 100.
And they will grab their genitals
100.
and punch
It's
them in
happened
the
to my
back.
and that is
And
illegal
so,
as well.
you know,
And that
It
is
has
illegal as
happened.
well.
Yep.
it's
And
illegal,
that is
but
real.
most time men will not say a
Exactly.
word
Because they are expected to take it.
To take it.
they're
Yeah.
expected to take
That
it.
is exactly
or
right.
either that, or they're worried about looking like a punk for having
Complaining about it.
complaints about
Yep.
it.
But
you know,
Most time
whatever.
they just expect to take it.
No,
Yep.
period, right?
Yeah.
And so I think those are the extremes of the situations, right? I don't think anybody should be expected to experience sexual harassment on their job, at the grocery store, going through any of their normal lives. So I think that's a little bit outside of the scope of what, you know, we would consider I just want to put that out there. Like, like there are extremes to these situations.
It is.
You know?
So let's go back to the women. All right. What would you consider to be chivalrous? Because, like I said earlier, Ton and I, you know, initially it was opening doors, just saying nice things, but maybe that's not what y'all see, right? So, what would be something that's chivalrous to you?
And we're a different generation too.
We are. That's what I want to hear.
Okay.
With no strings attached for you.
I mean, I guess opening the door or whatever.
So
But
it's still opening doors. That's it.
I mean, I really don't care about
With
that.
no strings attached.
With no strings attached.
But you know, it's so funny to try to come up with the definition because it's so far from the reality. Like I don't even know what that looks like.
Well, what do you
What do you want?
What-
This is about
I-
you.
I honestly, like, most of what I would want someone that I am looking to date to act like that's what's coming to mind. But I know we said that chivalry doesn't necessarily have anything to do with dating.
right.
But just like in general, like, have a sense of humanity, care about other people's well-being, right? Like, I'm not necessarily looking to see if you opening the door for me. Are you opening the door for other people? How are you treating wait staff? How are you treating people that are deemed as less valuable, air quotes again, in this world? Like, that's what I'm really looking out for. Do you see people that need help and offer that help? Do you see people like I said, I don't need somebody to open the door for me. That doesn't make me feel special. It doesn't make me feel like that to me is not as important as, you know, that sense of protection. Do I feel safe around you? Do I feel like you have your eyes on potential dangers? Do I feel like you are considering me as a human being, whether you get some or not? Like, and that can look different in different ways.
Okay,
You know what I'm
that's
saying?
fair. You know what's fascinating?
What?
Maybe something we didn't consider. Both of them keep going back to the safety word.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's a huge
the
part of it.
protection word.
Yep.
That's a
right?
huge
But,
part.
but that's
chivalry.
rooted. That's rooted.
It's in the night piece,
The night,
right?
yep.
But Tom, we thinking just opening the door. We're not thinking safety, right?
Right.
I think that's where this conversation is fascinating to me, right? That I guess the closer you get to the people in your life, you want to make sure that the women around you feel safe.
Right. And there's another part too.
Yep.
The part that I am hearing is, do you see me for me?
Yes.
not as a piece of meat,
That's an object.
or as an object.
But
do you
I'm
see
gonna tell
me
you,
for
that's
me?
a huge part of safety. Can I be myself around you? Can I be vulnerable? Not just are you protecting me from other potential dangers, but do I feel safe being vulnerable and myself around you? That is part of that safety for me too. And I think even more so because I have, like I said, I have friends, women who are like my besties. We open the door for each other. Like, that's what I'm saying. So you opening the door for me does not faze me at all, right? And I have female friends where I feel absolutely safe, unmasking and being my absolute self around. There are fewer men in life that I feel safe around because it has been, in my experience, the men that are coming at me because of my position, because of perceived power, and because of what the P word that they perceive that they can get, right? And when they find out they can't, they're ghosts, right? And so I think I may have been conditioned by these experiences that chivalry is dead because women are doing these things now that men used to call chivalrous.
What about you, Al? What would it be? This is fascinating. For you, that you would like to see men do? That's chivalrous.
I like feeling cared for. And people are surprised by that because I'm so dominant in business, right? Like, people always expect that I want to do it on my own. I want to be super independent. I don't want you to do this for me. I don't want you to do, and that's not true about me at all. Like, I actually really love being protected. My three, like, and I think that this is fundamentally true for most women who subscribe to traditional, gender roles. My three things from a man are passion, provision, and protection. I want you to be unequivocally passionate about me so that I'm not the thing that you're just settling for, but I'm the thing that you crave. I want protection. I want to know that mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally, you will do whatever you can to keep me safe in those spaces. And then I want to feel provided for. That even though, and people can feel however they want to feel, I want to know that if especially during my, baby bearing years, that I had the opportunity to stay home and raise my kids and not necessarily have to put them in childcare, to pay somebody else to raise my kids. That we don't have to be rich, but we are in a stable enough space that I can actually choose to be a full-time mom while the kids are small like that. And you can hold us down during that period of time, because that was very much our reality. I like those things. I like knowing that I am physically safe, very much so. Absolutely. I am not interested, and while, don't get me wrong, I'm sure there are lots of featherweights out there that can handle their business. I like a bigger man for a reason. I like to feel small next to my man. I like, even my closest guy friends, interestingly enough, all of my guy friends are 6 feet. Almost all of them. And whether they're a little thinner or a little, bigger, I tend to feel safest with friends that I'm small next to them. I'm not worried about them hurting me. I'm interested in their ability to protect me from any other kind of hurt. I only bring men into my world that I feel safe around. I don't bring men close to me that I'm not sure what your agenda is, that I have to be looking over my shoulder. Because the other thing, too, is everybody knows I'm naturally a physical. I hug my friends. I love my friends, male, female, and anything in between. I love my people. So I can't be very close to a man whose only agenda is something that is outside of what it is that I want for us, because I don't want to have to be protective of myself in relationship.
That's good. All right. So I got two questions for the show ends. Okay. The first question to you is, I'm hearing then that how can a stranger show you chivalry? Because what you all are describing is safety and protection. And most guys who you don't know is not going to do that simply by opening a door for you, right? So is it not possible for a random, right? Like if you didn't know me and I just see you walking and I just open the door for you, is that not chivalrous to you? Or is that not possible because I don't know you well enough?
I mean, for me, I mean, if you hold the door, I'm not going to yell at you or nothing. Like, I can get it myself. Like, that's not what I'm saying.
But there are some who don't
blame that on feminism. A lot of that is trauma.
Okay.
And just being rude. Some people are just straight rude. Some people are just rude.
So that's not. But like, and this is where I can see where it would be difficult. when I am traversing spaces, I am not thinking about somebody trying to holler at me. I'm thinking about, if I'm going into the grocery store, what is my grocery list? What is it that I can do? Like, I'm writing my next speech in my head. I'm like, so when I'm out and about, I am not prioritizing being hollered at.
No, we're not talking about being hollered.
No. I just want to make, like, I'm connecting it.
Okay.
So I have been called rude by someone that was doing chivalry with the strings. Because I did not entertain the rest of the conversation after I said thank you and walked through the door. And so it's like a lot of people that I know, we do not date strangers. And there is no way to really be chivalrous in the depthful way that we are considering it. Hold the door. Be nice. I don't know that I'm calling that chivalrous. Be nice. That's a human thing to do. But a lot of us, we need 3 references before we date. Anyway, so you hold the door. That's cute. That's nice. That's sweet. Thank you. And we're moving on. But it's not the start of a conversation. So I think you are still asking the question, assuming that there are no strings attached. And I just do not have a reference point for that.
But is that an act of chivalry is what I'm asking you. Like, if a stranger just opens the door for you.
I just think that's the human thing to do.
But it's not chivalry.
I don't think so, because if chivalry is gender-based, I hold doors for people all the time. Women hold doors for me all the time.
Okay.
And here's the interesting part. And when you were saying about how you got treated different based off size, I can also tell you, whether I'm dressed in boys' clothes and I have like a quote unquote bum day, or I have just come from a meeting and I'm looking like I just got off, being recorded or whatever, I get treated differently just in those two, right? And so it's just weird to think that you're only gonna hold the door for somebody that you think is pretty or that you think looks good. So this whole frame of holding a door, that is a humane thing to do for a person that is coming through an entryway behind you. It does, to me, it has no gender role. It should have no expectation. It is, why wouldn't I hold the door for you when you're coming out of the door right behind me?
Okay, that's fair.
So that just doesn't make sense.
That's fair. So Al, I ask you the same question. Is it an act of chivalry? Because I'm hearing protection, and that's deeper level
That's
stuff.
deeper. That's
But for
deeper.
A man that you see in the store somewhere, and he just happens to open the door for you, is that chivalry?
It is to me.
Okay.
And I like it.
And you like it.
And I like it. Like, it's just, and to see his point, as long there is, can we do it without the comment that comes behind it, right? Like, and truth be told, I don't care whether or not a man's attracted to me. You're allowed to be attracted. We're humans. We're allowed to be attracted to whoever we want. It's just, can you keep that to yourself?
Thank you.
Okay, like, I don't need to know what it is that you're thinking.
Right.
If it goes beyond but I also do enjoy a genuine compliment. Just someone saying, you look beautiful. And they don't say anything else to me except for that. Ma'am, excuse me, I just wanted to tell you, you look beautiful today. And they just keep it moving. It's kind of nice to just have a sincere, just someone noticing. No different than if I see one of my girls and I'm like, you look gorgeous today. It's not for any other reason than the acknowledgement that, wow, you look lovely, and I keep it moving. So I don't mind whether that's cross-gender. I don't mind whether you're a stranger, whether I know you. I love complimenting women that do not know me.
Absolutely.
Like, I love that. So I don't think that in any way is sexual harassment, because you can feel when it's dirty. When you get a dirty compliment, you can feel it, versus when you just get a sincere compliment. Right, like, and they're undressing you and this, that, and the other. Like, you can feel the difference. I tend not to care about a lot of stuff because I grew up with so many boys. So a lot of boy stuff, it doesn't really bother me, even when it's not always the best stuff. But because I grew up with boys and I'm raising one, I also know what kind of comes with it sometimes. So I'm not really bothered by a lot of the stuff, but do understand the lines and the boundaries. But chivalry, to me, I still enjoy when somebody pulls out a chair for me, or where they open the door, or if I'm reaching for my coat and a man will pick up the coat to, offer to put it, do I need help? And give me the opportunity to say, I've got it. And they're like, no problem. And they let it just be that, they just let me have it.
Yeah. But
But if I'm like, thank you, and they actually help me put on the coat, and then they go about their business, to me, that's a well-raised young man. And if I could feel that you would do that if I was 89 years old, and you do that if I was 15, I'm not bothered by that at all.
Okay, we about to land the plane on the show.
Good people, this is your boy Jay Cub. I'm so excited that I get to be on this side of the camera and have a good conversation with you today. is the day that we have the opportunity to exercise our civic responsibility and vote. Listen, sometimes we maximize or we focus on our presidential elections, but these local elections have far dire consequences than those of the presidential years. In fact, these elections shape what we do here locally and what we do here on a statewide level. So do me a favor, if you have not already voted, go ahead and vote. Today is the last day to vote. I believe in this area, our voting places close at 7 p.m. Remember, if you are in line, they have to allow you to vote. If you don't have transportation, there are lines and ways to get you to be connected to voting. I'll put those things on the screen right below so you could be able to contact who you need to contact. And if someone refuses to allow you to vote, I will also have that information on our closing screen. Don't forget, as Pastor Swan says, if you don't vote, you is trifling. You is trifling. So do me a favor, go ahead and vote, exercise your civic duty, because our forefathers and foremothers, they went through a lot for this opportunity for us to vote. So do me a favor, vote, or you is trifling. We'll see you next week for another edition of The Crew. Peace.
Okay, I hope you loved it as much as we did. Thank you for joining us for another fire show for The Crew. Listen, you can catch us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and any streaming platform that you're using for your podcast. Share with a friend, expand the family. Listen, we're trying to do this thing with all of you as often as we possibly can. We're looking forward to you joining us again for our next show.